Hi friends, my name is Al, or at Lilstarnerd on Instagram, and welcome to today's episode of White Crayon Complex. This is a video that I've been wanting to do since basically the beginning of my channel, but frankly, I've always been a little bit too lazy to do it. Before we get started, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community that gives you access to amazing courses that allow you to explore the depths of your creativity. Whether you want to try pottery, bullet journaling, photography, or digital art, Skillshare's got the class for you. A class that I've been enjoying is YouTube Success, Script, Shoot, and Edit with MKBHD.
Hey, what's up? MKBHD here, and this is a Samsung Galaxy.
I've been doing YouTube for some time now, but learning how to approach my videos in a much more professional and artistic way is something that I'm really interested in learning about. Skillshare is made specifically to be a place that you can learn and enjoy learning, and that means no ads to distract you, and there's always new premium classes available. Basically, Skillshare is an awesome place to go to learn new stuff or strengthen your knowledge in something you're already familiar with. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description below will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare so you can start exploring your creativity today. So doing a piece in crayon is an idea that I've toyed with for quite a while. I just thought it'd be a fun challenge, something very different to the mediums I normally use, but also familiar to me and something that I had a good chance of actually being successful with. Of course, using crayons is not a new idea on YouTube, and I've seen plenty of other people make awesome artwork with crayons here on YouTube and over on Instagram, so I'm not gonna pretend that this is some super original idea or anything. I wanna shout out Karina Singh and her video, Drawing with Crayons, because hers is like the video that really made me want to do it too. So I'll link her video down below. Karina, if you're watching this. Hey bestie! Hey, what's up? How are you? I went out and bought crayons for this, which is so annoying because, okay, listen, before my family moved to Florida, we had literally so many unopened boxes of crayons that we had just collected over the years and would use for school, or the donation drives for school supplies that would go on during the beginning of the school year. You know what I'm talking about? We always had stocks of school supplies just sitting around for that kind of stuff. And we donated it all of it, because we didn't want to take it to Florida with us, which is understandable. But now here I am buying crayons at 23 years old. When oh my God, literally, if I could have hung on to one box, I would have been fine. But it was a good excuse to buy their Colors of the World box of crayons, which I had been itching to try those for no other reason than I just really wanted to. For some reason I don't know, I wanted to. So this gave me a good excuse to get them. I bought 4 packs of crayons because I had this idea that I would do this really big piece and I would go through the crayons really fast and then I would need a bunch of white ones, but I only opened one regular box and barely made a dent in the crayons. I barely used them. Also, crayons are expensive. They were $1.30 a box, maybe more, maybe $1.40. I thought they were gonna be 50 cents. What? So, okay, let me tell you what my plan had been. I haven't used crayons in a long time. Obviously, I'm 23. But the feel of crayons when you use them every day for 10 years, it's not something that you forget, you know? So I felt like I had a good idea of how they would work as a quote unquote fine art supply and how I would be able to use them best in a piece. And so I figured I was gonna do a really, really big piece because I wouldn't be able to sharpen the crayons to get fine detail, and having more real estate would ideally help with the blending and the little crumbly gaps that crayons tend to leave behind on paper. And then I thought I would do a lot of really light layering and then blending with lighter crayons on top, similar to the classic colored pencil blending technique. So that was my plan at first. My first problem was that I apparently cannot draw on a large scale at all. This paper started out at 18 by 20-ish and slowly got whittled down to this very normal small size paper. Not at all large, at all, even a little bit. Because no matter how hard I tried to draw bigger, the sketch just kept shrinking and shrinking, which I should have seen coming because I've found, for years I've had this problem, I can only draw at one size. When I'm thumbnailing, if I try to draw too small, it will absolutely guaranteed it will end up larger than I intended. Like I'll do my little, you know how you start your face with like a little circle with a cross? I'll start so small and like that'll end up being like the size of the eye. Like I can't draw small. And then if I like try to draw like something bigger, it's absolutely gonna end up way too small. Like I can only draw like one size. But I just didn't have the patience to like keep fixing the sketch to make it bigger. So I just kind of went with the size that it kept naturally coming to, and then I cut the paper to like fit that. Oh, also really quick, this reference, really quick. I'm gonna link the reference below. It's a really popular one. It's from Pinterest, unfortunately. This is a picture that I've had saved for years, and I've always like really loved it. I've always gravitated towards it, but I've never really used it. I love the weird angle. I love how she's kind of like smushing her face. I love the colors. I found that when the face is like getting smushed in a weird way, or the person's making a weird expression, it's just way more fun to draw or paint than just like smooth expanses of perfect skin. So I've always been drawn to this reference, and I liked the range of color and values in her face, which would give me like plenty of opportunity to use as many like of the crayon colors as I could, as opposed to very dark skin or very light skin with few value changes. I was looking for a reference that would let me really use as many crayons as possible, and I feel like this one worked. So anyways, I wanted to do something large, ended up not doing that at all. Thankfully that happened though, because this took way longer than I expected. It took so long and like a lot of like muscle. It was really tiring. First of all, I don't think having more space would have helped with the blending. Like, I mean, if I were really putting the work in to make it like really good, like a very realistic piece, yeah, then in that case, it would have helped to have more space. But in this instance, when my effort's a little lower and I'm going a little quicker for the sake of like filming a video, it definitely would have just made my life harder more than anything else. Larger paper probably would have helped with the detail issue, but also it might not have made that much of a difference, because it turns out you can't really layer crayon all that much. Listen, I didn't expect to like discover that secretly Crayola crayons have been like the ultimate fine art supply this whole time, and I didn't expect to like make a new timeless masterpiece with them, but I'm not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed to see that they really don't work well with paper and layering and stuff. And now saying this out loud, no shit, like they're wax, like what was I thinking? But I don't know, I still just expected them to come through. I don't know. The crayon crumbled off the paper really easily, so I was constantly like picking up the lower layers down to the paper, like so the paper would show through again, like rubbing off what I had done. Not to mention that there are plenty of gaps between the pigment on the paper, like giving it like there's a lot of texture, there's a lot of gaps, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but near the end when I was going really quick because I was really sick of doing it, like I gave up, and like the hair and the hand, I started going a lot quicker. There's a lot of paper showing through there, and it's not ideal. And of course, our oldest enemy, crayon crumbs. I knew they would happen, but I didn't remember how annoying they are, or that they had the potential to entirely ruin my drawing. Sometimes they blew off, sometimes they were like easy enough to scrape off with my nail, but sometimes they got stuck in the paper, or like rubbed in, or smeared around, or covered with another layer of crayon. And oh my god, those little devils are so annoying. They're so annoying, I hate them. I really do, I really hate them. Overall, I actually kind of like the finished piece. I did have a small hope in the back of my brain that I was gonna like crush this challenge and do something majorly hyper realistic and like blow my own mind. I didn't quite do that, but it definitely could have been worse. I really enjoyed using the basic color choices that crayons offer, and then using like the World of Color crayons on top as like the more realistic tones to cover those bright undertones to make it more realistic. I liked being limited in my color choices, that was fun. I love the very colorful final result. Love all the yellow in her skin. I was reacquainted with the Scarlet crayon, which unlocked a memory for me. Like when I say unlocked, like oh my god. I saw the color and I had a literal flashback to using that crayon in like third grade, like fourth grade, and how it was my favorite color. I remember being obsessed with this crayon. I used it all the time for years. And like, I totally forgot about this until seeing that color again, like on paper. I loved this color. And you know what? Little me was right. I still love it. That is that's a good crayon. That is a top tier color. I loved using it for this piece. And there was also like a very similar but more muted version in the World of Color box that I also used a lot. They were like, oh my God, they were perfect. They were perfect for this reference. There were a lot of color choices actually that were perfect for this piece, and I really enjoyed the process of like choosing colors and then mixing them on the paper. It was very fun. I really like playing with color, and this was a really like fun exercise in that. I think what I really like about this piece though is that from far away, it looks pretty darn realistic. Like it's very satisfyingly good from far away, but up close, while it doesn't necessarily get worse, I mean, it kind of does. You can see all that texture and the crumbs and the mistakes, and you can tell that it's done with crayon. Normally, I find it like disappointing. Personally, people can agree, that's fine. But like, I find it disappointing when you get close to a piece and you see that it's like worse up close or like less realistic up close. Like it's frustrating when you like go somewhere or you see someone's art and it's like so good and realistic from far away and you get up close and it's like, oh, like I'm sure it's great objectively, but like personally, I'm not into that. But for this piece specifically, I thought it was like kind of really fun, and it like captures the essence of using crayons for a portrait. You know what I mean? Like from afar, it looks like a normal fine art portrait, but up close, it looks like an adult played with crayons. And I think that's so fun, and I could totally pretend to find some deep metaphorical meaning for that if I really wanted to. I don't want to, but I could, and I think that's really fun. I think I would actually like to try this again on a large scale, like actually for real on a large scale, like I originally planned. I think I would like the challenge of attempting hyperrealism on a large scale with crayons, and I would really like to test myself in that way as a real bigger long-term project. Not like, you know, a few days, but not for a while. I think I'm good on crayons for a little bit. I also don't think I enjoyed crayon as much as other people might. I've been seeing some artists online talking about how they actually started using crayons again after this little challenge, and they find it really fun and they like the way the crayons look. I don't think I like them that much. I don't like the texture, and I can't see myself using them in a sketchbook like ever, but pop off, you know, pop off. If you like them, pop off. All right, friends, that's it for today. Thank you, Skillshare, for sponsoring, and thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, maybe like the video, subscribe, comment, and let me know if you've tried crayon recently and what you thought of it, because I'd love to know. Check out all the links in the description, all that jazz. All right, go bake some cookies, go wash your dishes, and go do some art.